My name is Brother Christopher Hudson, and I want to welcome you to this month's edition of The Forerunner. Behind me, as you can see, is a Freemasonry lodge. It happens to be one of the oldest lodges in all of Georgia. I want you to take a quick look at the symbol here on the wall. Above here, we see a compass, and below we see a square. They're both simple builder's tools. And in the midst of them both, we see a G. What this symbol simply represents is that the men that gather here in this building, they believe and enter into the worship of the grand architect of the universe, or so they say. Now, we as Christians know that the grand architect of this universe is Jesus Christ. For in the book of John, the 1st chapter, verse 3, we are told that the Word, all things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. But unfortunately, most of these men ignorantly have engaged in the worship of Lucifer. Lucifer, the fallen angel, which we now know is Satan. And according to the spirit of prophecy, labor unions and secret societies such as this one are intricate parts in Satan's plan to bring about Sunday legislation which will throw God's commandment-keeping people into a time of trouble such as never was. Brothers and sisters, we need to thank God that we are still lingering in the moments of probation, and that Jesus Christ, our high priest, is still interceding on our behalf before the throne of God. But very soon, the censer will be thrown down, and no more prayers will be answered. Very soon, names will be blotted out of the book for eternity, and very soon, Jesus Christ is going to come in the clouds of glory to wreak vengeance on the disobedient and to gather the faithful home with Him. In this newsletter, we are going to be talking about events that are leading up to and that are taking place right now that are going to bring about a great conflagration such as no man has ever seen, according to Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. I behoove you, watch closely. You're going to see some things that are very important, not only for your soul salvation, but for those whom you love. God bless you.
I was an FBI agent for 27.5 years. At the time of my retirement, I was the senior special agent in charge of the FBI Los Angeles Division. I have been qualified in the courts as an expert on cults and satanic ritual abuse. I have information from various sources that judges, law enforcement, prosecutors, attorneys, doctors, and many, many prominent individuals, including actors, actresses, professional football and baseball players, are involved in these type of activities. If you go back 225 or 30 years ago, you have what we call the Illuminati that was established in 1776. And the goals of the Illuminati, this is all very well documented, are to take over the world. One of the best ways of taking over the world is to control people's minds and to take over a country through control of the mind.
Most hierarchies of what I see is most of these, most religions, Vatican included, religions all over the world, have been infiltrated by some kind of force. So have the governments of the major countries of the world, and the force always seems to bring confusion at the levels where people are trying to follow some type of good in the world. And what I try to say is this, that there's so much confusion now. I enjoy listening to you for the reason you try to untangle that. That may give you a lead into what you're trying to say.
Catholic is the religion, and the religion is of the devil. But salvation is of the Lord. Then you take all these other religions outside of Catholicism, and they all have united themselves with the Antichrist. The reason they do this is because people are afraid of being persecuted. And the Bible says that if you're not born again of the Spirit, in other words, the spiritual Jew, a spiritual Israelite, because even Gentiles, the Bible says, have to be grafted into the Jewish tree, the Christ, who is the tree of life. You have to fall down to the world's greatest Jew, or you're not going to be saved. And if you say priests and all these people, the Vatican is the one that's infiltrating every place. They've infiltrated every government. They've infiltrated into every church. Alberto Rivera was telling me also that he himself had infiltrated
many of these militant organizations. I train and prepare how they can become Baptists, how they can become Adventists, how they can become Methodists, how they can become Presbyterian, how they can become Pentecostal, and all these areas where they most infiltrate.
What organizations have now been taken over by the Jesuit order and other institutes of Catholicism? What world powers are in her hands to be used in this final chess game for the takeover of the world? We can get some idea when we look back to the Council of Trent in the 1540s through the 1560s. At that time, during those years, we find vows that were taken by these secret orders to take over the education of the Protestants, take over their schools, take over their churches, especially to destroy the Protestant Bible by creating many translations, destroy the monarchies of Europe, destroy nationalism, to use astronomy and astrology to create new calendars that would eventually transfer the sanctity from Sabbath or Saturday to Sunday. Their goal was to take over the business world, internationalism. They were to take over banking, to take over Judaism and the movement of Zionism, to create political strife and chaos and all of these things for one end, that Catholicism should rule. Listen.
A prayer summit at Assisi, Italy in 1986. They came from around the world, Catholics, Protestants, Orthodox, and Jews. Muslims from 9 nations sang from the Quran. American medicine men called on the Great Spirit. Buddhism's Dalai Lama, traditionally regarded as a living deity, chanted rhythmically. Animists from Africa, Hindus, Zoroastrians. We will stand side by side asking God to give us peace. With that papal invitation, 160 leaders from the religions of the world gathered to petition God.
Streets, none of my friends speak, we all trying to win. But then again, maybe it's for the best though, cause when they seeing too much, you know they trying to get you touched. Whoever said illegal was the easy way out couldn't understand the mechanics and the workings of the underworld. Granted, 9 to 5 is how you survive. I ain't trying to survive, I'm trying to live it to the limit and love it alive. Like ills, poison my body, and used to say my skills. I never prayed to God, I prayed to God. He changing us, and now we're lethal, infected with the evil. God, I wonder, can you save me? Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. God, I wonder, can you save me? Secret society, trying to keep me on. God, I wonder, can you save me?
That's the language of our Latin ancestors. On the back of $1, the plan and the message. Numero uno, inuetsuetus. That's the language of our Latin ancestors. On the back of $1, the plan and the message.
So I keep one eye open like CBS. You see me?
On the back of $1, the plan and the message.
So I keep one eye open like CBS. You see me?